the 97 financial crisis taught policymakers, central bankers, an awful lot. And the Asian policymakers learned from that. I remember an Indonesian finance minister said to me very specifically, we will never go back to negative 14% growth, what we had in 1998.
现在我们可能看到地球的中心开始由西方向东方、向亚洲在转移。
For the Asia to sustain its recovery, the Asian economy must see the change from the export-oriented economy to a more, the regional demand-oriented economy. We see great opportunity in financing various infrastructure projects throughout the region. This is a big challenge, another big challenge. As the amount is big, the ADB estimates it will require $8 trillion during the next decade. That's a huge amount of money.
We get asked questions about things as basic as, how do I make a payment in China, or how do I make a payment between China and Indonesia, to how am I going to structure my shared service center, to how am I going to issue a bond. One piece of advice that I always think about is, and maybe banks should think this way too, by the way, is maybe we should look at Asia as a location, but we should all have country strategies within that. So when I think about where we are, we're in emerging markets, and emerging markets have requirements that they want to grow, and they want to see whatever we do as an institution to promote standardization, to promote innovation, has to meet that goal, which is to help them grow and grow economically.
Asia should not just take away the policies of the Western regulators. The banking system is in far stronger long-term positive shape, and to apply those, in some cases draconian, maybe needed, but in draconian approaches, will stultify growth. With regards to infrastructure of payments and clearing systems, there needs to be some common framework, some common governance, and frankly, it has to start in US dollars. But my sense is in the longer term, it will happen in RMB.
As the RMB becomes a more accepted currency, adopted globally, that China will also have an interest to be one of the motors behind some of the standardization, because it will be a key driver, and that this standardization and collaboration has to be an Asian answer.
当我们谈到人民币成为一个全球化货币的时候，大家要注意到一个问题：第一个，这不取决于中国自己怎么想，而是说这个世界上是不是需要第二种或者第三种世界性的货币。
We have challenges in liquidity, regulation, infrastructure.
New currency.
The RMB might fix it all, but exactly when and what pace and will that happen?
特别是需要我们的区域内的金融机构和监管当局进行合作，怎么建立一个向人民币走出去所需要的一个全球化的、高效率的、稳健的清算体系。
Consensus is the most important thing to have. And then we can talk to our regulators and pushing the reforms or some changes in the regulatory or legal framework.
Asia needs to drive the standards itself, taking the best of what, and be part of a global environment. But I don't think it's about borrowing, it's about looking at how one can drive integration and drive the goals, which is growth. And so what is the best way to achieve that? And I think that the answer has to come from within the region. It can't be coming from Europe or the US. It has to be a regionally driven answer and framework.
The policymakers and the regulators are wanting to hear how. That's the opportunity for the industry actually to build it with, as Lisa said, in the framework of an Asian framework. I think they're looking for how from the industry, so that's a great opportunity.